Welcome to Neighborhood Narratives, where we spotlight local authors from South Florida and the stories shaping our communities.
We're excited to have Tarelle Goldwire, the author of Freckleberry Is Not Color, the second book of her Freckleberry series. This children's book follows issues of race and identity, inviting young readers to think more deeply about how they see themselves and others in a more deep and accessible way.
So thank you so much for joining us
No,
today,
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. So to begin, tell us what inspired you to continue the Freckleberry Is Not a Color series, and tell us more about who you are.
So I was born and raised here in South Florida, but then a tragedy happened and my mom passed away. We were separated. It was 6 of us, 6 kids, and we were separated. 3 of us moved to South Georgia. I was one to move to South Georgia, leaving South Florida. Even though we think South Florida is the South, it's not the South. South Georgia is the South. And so when I got there, I experienced things I never experienced before as a child. But at the same time, I'm experiencing other things that I'm trying to understand, grief and the losing of people and me not wanting to trust people now. Where like, what is the point of making connections if you're gonna lose people? So trying to deal with all of that. And then finding out I had to go to school by myself. I never went to school by myself. I was always with my siblings, and navigating middle school by myself. And so now I'm in this new place, new world, and we hated it. I hated it for the first 3 years. And next day, the kids are asking like, oh, well, you need to choose what side you want to be with, meaning what race. And I've never been asked that question before. And so it was just like, you have to choose if you're going to be white or black. They only recognized 3 races at the time, which is crazy because we're 1999. No, 1997, I would say. But they only recognized white, black, and Mexican. That was it.
There's nothing else that existed.
Existed. And I was just like, oh. And so even though I'm very light-skinned or fair, I only grew up with the black side of my family. I'm black and Cuban. I never knew my dad. He was in jail at the time while my mom raised us. And so only knew my black culture, my black family. And so naturally I chose the black friends. That's all I knew. But even with me choosing the black friends, it became this thing, what we know now is colorism. Well, you're not black enough because you're so light skinned. Or let's see how tough you are. Or this girl don't like you because you have good hair. Or all this type of stuff started happening. And I just felt like I was alone at the time. No one to talk to. My aunt was very into, she still is, I love her to death, religion and God. And she just was more of a soft person and just like everything's gonna be all right. And unlike my mom, if my mom was still alive, she would have been to that school. She would have been trying to beat the parent. I wouldn't have had any issues. So that was tough to navigate too when you felt like you didn't have anyone to understand or fight for you. But eventually it made me grow up fast and learn how to defend myself, which I didn't like, but it's just something I had to do. But eventually over time, things became well and good. And so with that, as we go through life, things keep happening, ups and downs. And my dream used to be, it still is, but I just don't talk about it no more. I always want to be an actress. I don't see myself at any job, doing anything. I want to be in different roles as different characters, doing those jobs, but not in real life. I'm not. And so I always want to be an actress. And so in that small town, in that small community, no one believed in Hollywood. No one, even my own family, they were like, what? They would laugh or
Like
not really,
odds of that actually happening. Or
you were the one that was talking kind of crazy. And so that was kind of hard to deal with when you're the only one believing in this dream and no one else is, and they looking at you like either that's not a real job or that's never gonna happen. And so the day I graduated high school from Georgia is the next day I moved back to West Palm Beach. Because I still had a lot of family here, but I just felt like so much going on in like Miami, more opportunities. And so I moved back and I started pursuing modeling. In college as well at Palm Beach State, and I started doing both. And it was the best couple years. Like, all the stuff was happening when you go after your dreams, great experiences. And then I decided to go off to college to Florida State. And I was a junior at the time because I already did my 2 years at Palm Beach State. And then I found out I was pregnant as a junior. Now in my family, like my mom had 7 kids, so her number one thing was don't have kids in my house. Don't have like no. But some of my sisters started having kids, so when it happened to me, even though I'm a junior in college, I'm 22 years old, I'm not in high school, I felt the most shame, the shame. So everything I was doing, modeling, everything, all that in my head just like was like done. Like you destroyed your dreams. It was no one there to say, Tarelle, you can keep going, you can do this, like, you have her and take her with you, like, nothing. And I had no family there, I only had a friend, but I moved out into my own studio once I had her, and I just felt alone that whole year.
Yeah.
I still graduated on time. I did online classes and went back to the college. I remember being the only one pregnant on that campus at Florida State at the time and getting the most stares, like everything. It was not a good experience. And then I moved back to Palm Beach after that. And instead of just letting my dreams die with modeling and acting, I decided to go to the fashion design school in Miami. And so I did that for 2 years, graduated. And Freckleberry came when I was pregnant as well, that name. Because I want to give back to kids, knowing what I had been through in some type of way. And she was birthed when I was pregnant, and once I had her and I finished those 2 years at design school, I did my first kids fashion show in Miami.
Awesome.
And so I partnered with another company who did adult fashion, and like I was in love with the fashion world. So to me, if I couldn't be a model, not saying I couldn't, but at that time I'm thinking like if I could transition, I'm gonna have to pivot, then I'm gonna go in the behind the scenes of the fashion world, which is the fashion shows and everything. So I did those for a couple years, had more kids, life kept happening, still did the fashion shows, whether grown up or my own, with the under Freckleberry, and then COVID happened. So then once COVID happened, I was like,
there's no fashion shows.
There's no nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? And I always wanted to write a kid's book, but just never knew when I was in a bucket, like on this. Book was in that bucket, but it never was like I'm gonna support my business one day. But when it happened, I was like, well, you want to pivot again, because what are you gonna do with Freckleberry? Like, you were doing fashion shows at the time. And so that's when I wrote my first book, Freckleberry Is Not a Face. Freckleberry face, not a face, sorry. Freckleberry Loves Her Face, and that was about bullying, and it was to me as a kid when I was bullied about my freckles. And so then the second book came about because I want all kids to be confident and love themselves, and so the second book came about due to I went through as a child as well with colorism and racism, and so that's how Freckleberry Is Not a Color came about, and it should teach kids, because if we can get the idea of color out of their heads, and when they meet as friends, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, whatever color you are, it just doesn't matter. And if you can get that out of their heads, then maybe we can end racism. So that was the thought behind this book. And to support kids that's like me, that's mixed, that may be struggling with their identity and what side they're gonna play to or who they are. And just to let them know, like, it's okay, you who you are. Your color shouldn't matter. We have to stand up against other people who make your color matter. But it's just more to teach kids. If we can get the kids at a young age and change their mindset, I feel like that's how we kind of like, especially with racism. So Freckleberry Is Not a Color, just Freckleberry trying to find out who she, what color is she, and her dad tells her she's black, but she kind of relates a color, a crayon.
I actually have a question with that.
Yeah.
With her, so Freckleberry Is Not a Color itself, the title, is a powerful phrase. And then there's a line in the book when the dad is speaking to Freckleberry, and I'm gonna look at my card because I can't remember that line. That stood to me, and it said, "You are not a color. You are a person who laughs and dreams. Your skin does not determine who you are." So, one, you kind of touch when you're talking about your background, but how does the topics of colorism and race come up with you? Like, what are you conveying with that? And then, what conversation did you hope to have, or the readers to have, when they read that part or the book overall?
Like parents, what are the conversations that you imagine other parents having with their kids as they're reading the book?
So the message I was trying to convey is kind of what I was saying earlier, is that color it shouldn't factor in who you are. We know adults, our color gets thrown into our resumes, our color gets thrown into places we walk in, our color gets thrown into where we go as people, where we feel comfortable. And so if every child could know that the color of your skin does not matter, like, it's who you are, how you treat people, and we know that's true. Like, it's treat people. It doesn't matter what color you are, it's how you treat me and how I treat you back, out of respect, out of love, out of kindness. That's what really matters. And that's what he's trying to portray to her, and then also build her confidence up too, because we know regardless of what goes on and what parents teach kids, how much positivity, how much confidence you try to give them, the world is going to try to eat them up. And so my thing is, if we could just give them that confidence and it doesn't break against someone from the outside world coming in to tell them you're black, you nothing. You know, or name, or you know how it is and people are, and if we could just build that child up and look past the color, even though they know what race and color they are by society standards, they know in themselves that they can go beyond that and push beyond that, because we limit ourselves by what other people think of us sometimes.
That's so true. I feel like kids, they come into the world not knowing what a race is, what a color is, right? So they kind of like that sense where they'll naturally make friends with whoever's nice to them, who's gonna play with them.
Yeah.
You know, like it is world that kind of corrupts. I feel like a lot of parents, when they don't have that conversation, that's when the world is able to kind of like, so kind of going that, can you speak a little bit more as to why it's important to have conversations around like race with kids? Yeah.
Because I think it's important, because I wish someone would have had the conversation with me, because I did not understand. I wish someone was there to tell me how the world worked. I knew how it worked from movies and books and stuff, but to go to South Georgia and see that it was still in play, it like shocked me. It was like a total shock. And so I think the conversation is important to give that child confidence and to build them up. And for your parent to be the safe space for that child to talk about anything. There's a lot of issues and things are going to come up. So I think it's highly important to that child's mental, future self, present self. I think it's highly important for parents to kind of talk, even if it's about their skin color, about bullying, about what they think of the world or different things they ask. I think it's highly important we talk to our kids and not, push on electronics. And I mean, I sometimes
the world be the only teacher.
Right, don't let
exactly. That is the perfect saying. Yeah, don't let the world be the only teacher. And so I found out with this book, when I have book readings and the parents are there, it created this whole conversation. Because sometimes they don't even think about it. It's creating conversations about race and colorism, and because it's not just outside. It's not an outside thing, it's an inside.
I mean, colorism is inside.
So it creates conversations, and even parents come up, or grandparents come up that's Caucasian, because their granddaughter or grandson is now mixed. They want to take this book to them to have them read and let them know, like, you're going to find, like, it's not your skin color.
And to kind of help, things like, parents and the grandparents who might not know how to have that conversation, how they started.
Right.
I think it's also good that, because there's this idea of that you got to choose a side. When being multiracial or ethnic is like, it's you sides. It's like there's or you are both, or you're a new thing in general. And that's something I kind of prescribe when it comes to when talking about different races, being someone who's multiracial, not me, but like in general, we're multiracial. And I think it's also important to note that we are so focused on color that really it's the culture that we need to focus on. So like you were in your story earlier, you're Cuban, but you raised up in the black culture, and that's what you kind of prescribe because that's what you know the most, and focus what having that shared identity or shared cultural experience, if I could say, is like versus what it means to be which is contradictory. I'm about to say what it means to be black, but it's like focus on the experience itself, which is not like not experience is the same. I'm rambling, but like I mean to conceptualize or explain, but like it's the experiences we have in relation to our race or our ethnicity or nationality that matters more than how we are presented. At an extent, because we'll treat you one way and you need to acknowledge that too. So, but
it's a whole nother conversation of whatever side you did grow up on, to kind of know and not stuck on one race, one side, and be to the other side. Maybe that'd be another book, because that's important.
You bringing that up. Okay, so I was thinking, so if you were to reimagine Freckleberry Is Not a Color through lens, how would that book look? Because I can totally imagine this book following Freckleberry throughout her life.
Aww. Like the YA.
Her as a teen, like still like if you thought of it like that, but like if in case she was a teenager, how would that look like for?
That's a good question, because a teenager is like a whole ball game. And it's in form, but I focus on real ideas or real life things we through. So the teenage thing kind of scares me, because I don't know if people would be ready for the teenage books.
I think they'll be ready.
Teenagers would be
Yeah.
ready. Speak from your experience as a teenager. Rely on your daughter. Like, just,
Yeah, tougher as a teen.
Yeah.
So I thought about that. I do have a third book coming out. Did I let you? I'll look over it.
Yeah.
Me kind of like question, like talking about process of writing a book. So for you, give us a little insight as to like what your process is like when you're
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like childhood trauma or something, but like most ideas and things happen when I'm sad or like upset.
That's the artist thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like
most like. So I'm recommending that for anybody. Or it happen when I'm in moments of like busyness, like so ideas pop. But most times I'm sad and I get so like motivated or just my situation or to change my mindset or to know that there's something more. So I think kind of motivates me. And so Freckleberry actually already written down like certain ideas, just never a script. So I had the names and the thoughts and I just went back to it. I used to keep this book where I drew my fashions and ideas about Freckleberry, and I just went back to it. And I was like, that's why I say it's good to journal so you can go back to things. And so I already had certain ideas come up, and so this is the second book, but when I wrote the first book, I probably had that script for like a year. I got the deal down. I just wrote the deal down. Didn't know how I wanted to set it up or anything. And then I just kept going back to it. And I started reviewing other kids' books and how like was their first person, third person, the character, how many characters. So I had to do a lot of research on the first book. This is the second book, but I had to do a lot of research on the first book. And I just kept editing. And then finally, when I thought I was pretty much done, I let people read the book to see what they say, or other professionals edit and go through and say, hey, maybe you should think of this, or maybe you should edit this, or so that's the process. And even with this, when I held on to a couple months, I would let it sit because I would go back to it and be like, that doesn't sound right, or or edit. And so the second one came about. So it's just a process. I try to take my time. I rush it. Because even like the first one, I want to go back and change things.
That's like the curse of a writer, because I relate so much. Like the amount of times I go back and change things.
Because sometimes when I read the book out loud, I'm like, why did I say it like that?
Right.
Like,
I could have said this better.
I could have said it differently. Better, more.
But you always come out with a second edition of Freckleberry, the first one.
That is. Do you draw the images yourself, or did you find an illustrator?
No. So someone told me to go on Fiverr.
Okay.
And really about like reaching out to people or like asking people for help. But I think I was just so motivated at this point, like to do something with Freckleberry. The first book. So my first book is the one for the second book, and I plan to have her for all the books. She agreed. I hope she can. But she was on Fiverr. It's an app for like freelance, and I went like a curious like 3 people. My idea. Like what was just behind Freckleberry. All I wanted them to do was just draw Freckleberry because Freckleberry wasn't created yet. I just needed to draw her character. And I did not like the first 2. I was like, this is not it. Because I wanted to have a feeling, like a feeling. And when I told her I like one thing, she got it.
Oh, I love that.
And I didn't have to over explain. I didn't have to like go back. I just knew she was the one from then. And she went to this day, and I love her. Natia, shout out Natia.
So, I mean, it's like we ask like what advice you give to other people or other aspiring authors and writers, and go from your experience from publishing. But you kind of but I guess if there's any other piece of advice you want to give to those who are sitting on a book like me or others, about self-publishing.
So I'm not an expert on publishing, but I did have to do a lot of research for self-publishing because I feel like there's 2 different publishings. Yeah. There's a publish where you do it yourself, and then there's a different publish where like a company agent feels that like you're somebody have on their team, and then they're gonna, and then the company publishes you. But I'm looking for that as well. But the first people who want to do the first way, because I have no idea about the second way right now. But the first way, I would get your ideas out, write it down. Even if it's not perfect, write it down. Keep working on it. Have someone close to you or professional review it, edit it, and then just start researching the best platform that you want to work on. I actually went through 3 platforms first. Amazon would not accept the size of my book. and
Really?
I would not change the size. I'm not
You
changing
see
it.
that? Why we should not
That's a
support
regular
Amazon?
They would not
size.
accept it. It was the hardest thing, and I remember being so frustrated. And so I went to Barnes, and I was surprised they had a platform because how big they are. And I was like, oh, okay. So they have a self-publishing platform, and I went through it. It was easy. It worked. They give you the dimensions of everything because you have to have your script, and then you have to have your pictures from your illustrator, and then you kind of I set it up. Use your AI tools. I set it up in Canva, something very easy, and I've been Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble tells you everything of like what to. And something I didn't know, I just had to research when they said something. And Barnes and took it first. And then as I was researching, I came across another company called Ingram Spark, which is it's a lot of self-publishing companies out there. But the difference about Ingram Spark, so then I published it through Ingram Spark, and that's the main way I will probably publish all my books into grab me. But not do they detail everything that you go through. They are a global distributing self-publishing company. So with Barnes & Noble, my book was only in Barnes & Noble online. Not in the bookstore, just online. But with Ingram Spark, my book is still online, but in more stores. And so Ingram, I don't know what Ingram Spark did, but now my book is on Amazon because of Ingram Spark. When Amazon went and let me through, it's on the Noble. Not because I went through Barnes & Noble, but only Ingram Spark. And so they're a global distributor, and they take you everywhere. You can sign up to be distributed in all countries. So say if a teacher or librarian gets on and say, oh, I want this book, now it'll go to Europe. Now it'll go to Germany. Barnes & Noble didn't offer that. So I would recommend any self-publishing new book person to Ingram Spark as your first book way.
Quick question. Through Ingram Spark, did they give you the ISBN or did you buy a package separately?
Oh, sorry, yes. So, no. They had, I believe, but this is where all the research came in. So not only did I buy a ISBN, and it's called Bowker, Bowker. I think you could buy your ISBN there, and you can get a bundle of them for a certain price. So it's like, it's in the library system somehow when you get your ISBNs. And so I went through Bowker. So that was the whole thing. So you have to just purchase ISBNs, and then you'll drop your book, and then you have to wait until they apply it to that book for you to use it. Step in it too, and then the other step was copyrighting my words. Because you know what can happen. You cannot, anything, and you don't want someone to take your story and give it a different name. You don't want someone to take your story and change one or two words and like, oh, it's mine. And so copyrighted my words. The first time they rejected me because I did it wrong, but this time both books copyrighted through the government, and they're my words, not my pictures, but they're my words. So.
Speaking of, have you ever tried to get your book like in like public schools, or is that
you on a
something
low
that
key
you're-
tour right now, right?
Yeah, huh?
You in a low key tour with our local and the classrooms, the schools.
Yeah, I've met people, and I been able to like career days at schools and stuff, and so get my book that way. It's actually harder than you think to get your book in the school system, a picture book for kids, because of all the rules that has came in. Maybe this was a couple of years ago. I probably should be easier. I haven't the school system yet. I have spoke to librarians at the school system, but it hasn't went further. And then other connections I've made, I don't know this book, but my first book, Freckleberry Loves Her Face, is at the Mendel Public Library.
Okay, that's
So
awesome.
I'm really happy about that. I do know that to be in the library, I probably need to get a hardcover, but it's coming. All of it will come. Nothing is perfect, but as long as I keep moving forward, and I recommend everybody else to keep moving forward too. But yes, and then I'm in talks with the Revere Beach Library, the city I live in, to do like and so I'm hoping after I do that event, they accept books into their library as well, because they create their own codes and everything to go into the system. So I'm hoping I can do more and more. So more libraries, more schools,
Yeah.
Please tell our audience where they can find you, your socials, where they can find Freckleberry Is Not a Color, one of which, of course, is on our bookshop on www.embargoededitions.com, and then the other libraries and bookstores. That's it.
Yes. So you can find Freckleberry on any platform from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Ingram Spark. Then also I have my own website, freckleberrykids.com. I'm also on Instagram, Freckleberry Kids. So the book is out there to be purchased. I would appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite lines in the book because it shows the innocence of a child and what their mind thinks compared to other things in the world. So Freckleberry's daddy, I'm not black. The color of your truck is black, not me. Why do you see me as this color? Why are people called a color? I asked curiously. And so I think it's important because she, as it is putting color in the right way, which is a crayon, not her skin tone. And I think that's what color is. It should be a crayon, not our skin tone. No one technically should be called a color.
Yeah, and he's not off his neck, just asking back-to-back questions.
That's
When that's such a kid.
Yeah. Freckleberry to be very bold and curious. She asks those questions for the kids because I think sometimes we think it and we just don't get it. So, yeah.
And I like the cover.
Thank you.
That illustrator, she did a great job.
I just give her the idea and she goes.
Yes. So Tarelle, for coming to have this interview with us and joining our neighborhood narratives, which is a really important initiative that we created to like spotlight the that people don't know. You know, it all starts somewhere, and you know, Florida has a wide range of stories that needs to be told. So I'm glad you're part of it.
Yes, and I thank you all. Like, the work you're doing is very important. Like,
Thank you.
for you to all even recognize other people, that's big. Because some businesses only focus on themselves, you know?
That's
so
true.
I really appreciate you all for not even, like, recognizing me, the others to come.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes. Buy the book and look out for more interviews.
Yes. And follow Tarelle too.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye.